It's your summer. What the bird is barbecuing.
G'day jabronis, it is TheVerd back with you again, and welcome to our Week 9 Team Builder for the Pokemon Masters Cup, where your Tampa Bay Frogadiers are currently 7-1, and we are going up against the Colorado Rapidash. Now, when I am recording this, V still hasn't played his round 8 match, so he's currently 5-2. He could potentially be either 6-2 or 5-3. Regardless, this is a huge match, and we need to be at our best, because if we lose, we are both going to be 7-2 in the division, and that is no bueno. We want to make sure, that we can push ourselves higher. CJ lost this week, which means if we can beat V this week, with 3 games to go for the season, the Tampa Bay Frogadiers will be 2 wins ahead of anybody else in the division. That is huge. That is massive, especially since the week after this, CJ and V play, which basically means all I have to do is beat V here, and I can almost secure myself of playoffs. So that is a massive battle. To go 8-1 now will basically secure me playoffs, so this is big, guys. So I need to go out with my all and get the best win possible, and to do that, guys, I brought Stall. Yeah, legit, I'm not even going to try and beat around the bush. It's not because I'm a bad person, I swear. I think it's just because I looked at my matchup against V, and I really thought about it, and I came to the conclusion that, my best way of winning is to stall him out. And, I'm going to try and go through and explain why I think it's a good strategy. You will probably be dropping hate on me in the comments below, which is fine. For this team, I can understand that. But I'm going to go through my thought processes and let me know what you guys think. Anyway, we're going to begin with Skarmory here. Now, I'm bringing a specially defensive Skarmory this week for a few reasons. The main one is that it's actually a very good Landorus check. Now, here's the thing about Landorus. Last time V brought it, he brought a mixed attacking Landorus. From memory, it was Knockoff, Rock Slide, Earth Power, and Sludge Wave. That was his moveset. Not really sure why he ran Rock Slide. I'm trying to remember my exact team back then as to why Rock Slide was a good move. Probably Braviary. That was literally it. Anyway, he won't bring Rock Slide this time. I know that much. So, it looks like Knockoff, Earth Power, and Sludge Wave are still pretty contentionable moves. With Skarmory being on the team, that's leading me to believe he may bring Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Knockoff, and Gravity. Now, while you might be thinking, Verd, this is terrible, your Skarmory is going to get blown back, it's not really too bad. I have a lot of specially defensive mons that can take on the Landorus in this situation, and the fact of the matter is, if Gravity is happening, then he'll also lose his ground typing, which, makes him a little bit less, able to resist certain things like a Zygarde, Earthquake, and whatnot, so he won't want to risk certain things like that. So I personally think he won't bring Gravity. I think the risk is not, the reward is not worth the risk, if that makes sense. You could potentially bring an SD set, which I wouldn't mind, because I have a lot of defensive walls, and I have a lot of good specially defensive walls as well, so I can take on this Landorus, and Skarmory is the best of the best. It can take Focus Blast just fine, it can take HP Fires just fine from Life Orb Landorus, as Life Orb should be the set of choice here for V. But I'm basically running it feels very standard to me. I'm running Rocks on this because I couldn't run Rocks on anything else. I wanted to run Spikes because I wanted to pressure his Blastoise, but it's really not worth it, especially if he brings Espeon too. Espeon's just an annoying Pokemon to deal with, but Roost and Ironhead pretty standard. Ironhead's there because it hits Weavile hard, it hits Lando with some good damage, and it also hits the Regice hard, and Regice is annoying, so I want to be able to hit that thing hard. And then the last move is a really important one, which is Whirlwind. Now, Whirlwind's important in case the Lando tries to set up on me, or potentially like Kofag and that try and set up. Being able to get them off the field without being able to, put in as much work as I can is going to be incredibly important. I need to do that stuff to, ensure that I can win this battle. So, very important job that Skarmory has to do, getting those rocks up and then dealing with a lot of special attacking threats for sure. But for any threat that it can't deal with, I have Lantern. So again, another special defensive mon. I decided to double up on the special defense mons here, because Lantern is basically my shutout mon for Blastoise as well as Vaporeon, even Regice to an extent. Now, he may run a mixed attacking Blastoise, but Earthquake doesn't actually do that much to Lantern, and this set may seem a bit weird, but trust me, it works. Lantern basically walls the crap out of Vaporeon. Vaporeon only has 8 8 heal bells on his team, but that's going to be the big thing about this. I don't care about wish passing that much. I only care about heal bell, being able to wear down those 8 heal bells is going to be the reason why I should be able to win this game, because I can constantly weaken his team with status and cripple them down to the point where they're going to be a puddle of just deadness on the floor, and it's going to be fantastic. I love it. So Volt Switch is my only attacking move, mainly because Lantern doesn't really need much else. Like, Volt Switch hits everything on his team bar the Lando, and I have Toxic for that thing to be able to wear it down, so that's fine. And also, it's a real risk trying to switch in Lando on a Lantern. Like, that's just not a smart play, if I'm being honest, for V. Especially since this thing's going to be mainly coming in against Vaporeon and Blastoise, so like I could also just go straight for the Toxic there, which is fine. I actually rate that play a lot. So yeah, it's mainly just defensive wall to deal with those things. Also, I feel like he's going to expect a physically defensive Lantern, as it is my best Entei check on paper, and so that means he could bring like especially offensive Entei with a Solar Beam and whatnot, but that actually won't do too much to Lantern. Plus, I'm not running Scald, so I won't be able to activate a possible weakness policy, so that's going to be really cheeky. Moving on, we have one of my few win cons that I have on my team. I don't know why. Actually, I'm going to talk about this guy in a sec. I'm just going to quickly move him on top ahead of it. Move that to there. So let's talk about him on top first. So the first of my defensive walls. Basically, guys, I have 3 things that can win me the game and 3 things that work as a very nice little wall unit. Hitmontop being the last one for the main purpose of being able to check both Terrakion and the Weavile. Basically the exact same set I brought last time, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's not really much Weavile can do to beat this set. It also does really punch in against Terrakion. Toxic is phenomenal. I'm a little bit worried about Espeon, but I don't think he's going to bring it. The matchup just doesn't suit him at all, and I think he's going to bring other things that are more important in the matchup. But Rest Talk's really nice, really preserves my longevity, and I think it's going to be a really smart bring. We'll have to see how it goes, but honestly, there's not really much I can say about the Hitmontop set. It has a very obvious job to do, and I'm sure it'll do it. Also, it can take Entei hits nice, which is great. Now on to the first of my 3 kind of win cons. So Crest is the first of the win cons. It's the exact same Crest that I brought last time. Why is it a win con? Put simply, all I need to do is get rid of Weavile and this Crest set wins. That's pretty much it. He doesn't have a Steel type, he does have 1 Dark type, and he has Espeon as a Psychic type, which doesn't really war my Cresselia. So basically Crest's job is just to wait until Weavile's dead, be a little bit of a pivot, you know, against like Terrakion and potential Landorus and whatnot, and at the end it's just going to come in and go for Carmine and just, you know, rest all that up and then Sleep Talk and then do all those shenanigans, and if Weavile's out of the way, Crest is here to play, and that's the main thing. I just want to get Weavile out of the way, and Crest will come in super clutch and can basically sweep his entire team. It would have done it last week if it didn't get critted, but that's okay. Moving on, we have another, so you might be thinking, Third, why have you been putting this specially defensive Zygarde as your second to last mon? Because, guys, as you can see, this is a very aggressive Zygarde. So I learned something very, very interesting when I was doing mock battles. Initially, I had a Dragon Tail here, but I decided I wanted to run Outrage for extra damage. Turns out that was a genius idea, because what I didn't realize is the Dragon Tail itself, Outrage, if you Sleep Talk it, will not continue that thing, which means that like you won't be locked into Outrage. So even if you kill an opponent's Pokemon with Outrage, you won't be locked into it. So if they go out to, like, say, he goes out to Blastoise or Weavile, I won't be locked into Outrage. I can switch out to something else appropriately, which is amazing. If I'm not asleep, then I'm in trouble, but I can just, you know, coil and rest and whatnot, and that's fantastic. Coil is fantastic for those you don't know. Coil basically allows me to increase my attack, defense, and accuracy by 1 stage. Accuracy won't really matter too much, but attack and defense is great because, as you can see, I'm very specially defensive, so I can raise my physical defense. Why this is really good is because Zygarde is actually my dedicated Entei counter. Any form of Entei, be it the special attacking set that I predict or the banded set, I can take Sacred Fire, get off a coil, and then rest up, and that Entei is walled. Entei only has 8 PP on that Sacred Fire, so I can wear that down very quickly. And as you can see by the rest of my team, if I can wear down Entei's main fire type attack, that's going to put me in a really, really strong position for the majority of the battle. Also, because he's going to predict Lantern to be the check, I can definitely play Zygarde very aggressively against it, and that's great. Just getting up a couple of coils makes Outrage basically to KO everything on his team. Since he doesn't have a Fairy type or a Steel type, he has no resist to Dragon, so I want to capitalize on that as much as I can. But since he doesn't have a Poison type or a Steel type, I also want to take advantage of his Fairy weakness. And oh boys, do I have a set for you. I thought this up with my friend Gypsy King. So we were looking at the matchup, and initially I had like a really janky Clefable set, and we looked at the matchup and said, well, hold on, Clef can kind of do a madness here, because it has a phenomenally good time. Just yeah, it's pretty wild what this Clef set can do. Actually, just trying to remember from memory if I. And it's not worth it. Yeah, we're gonna keep it the way it was. So. The reason why we have the Clef set like this is the fact that I was looking at my matchup and realized Clef can kind of just set up Cosmic Powers. He doesn't really have like a lot of setup sweepers. Like when I say setup sweepers, I mean I know there's a Terrakion. I know that there is a I know that he has, what's its name? He has Terrakion, he has Weavile, he has Landorus. There is main setup sweepers, and Espeon to an extent, but I don't count that. Cosmic Power is great because Cosmic Power raises both defense and special defense, which means Clef becomes an absolute tank as if it wasn't one already. Yeah, I'm playing the risk of getting critted, but because I have ridiculously good defense, it won't even matter. I can softball it up, and then the kicker is that I realized that just with Cosmic Power, I had Moonblast over Charge Beam, but Sword Power wasn't doing that much when I got up to +6/+6. So I decided, why not chuck in Charge Beam, 70% chance to boost my special attack every time I use it, which means that then Stored Power, every time I use it, if I can get +6 special attack, +6 defense, +6 special defense, is base 380 every single time. And I'm like, okay, this is starting to look freaking tasty. So this is the win con of all win cons. It can effectively set up on everything on my opponent's team and has the ability to just end lives. Literally end lives. This thing can set up a Cosmic Power in the face of a banded Entei and then proceed to potentially take hits depending on what kind of Entei set it is. If it is banded, it could have Iron Head, but then again, because I am a +1 defense and I have a very bulky defensive build, I can take that potentially, but I gotta watch out for flinches and crits and stuff, so I gotta play very carefully. But at the same time, if I get up the Cosmic Powers, there isn't a whole lot my opponent can do, and I can be putting myself in a position for a Clefable sweep, and that would be ideal. Or, you know, in the middle of the game, getting Clefable to clear through things. I don't really care who gets the kills in my team. Like, I'm not looking at, obviously I'm not bringing my MVP right now, which is Nidoqueen, so you can clearly tell I don't care about kills that much compared to other people maybe in this league do. Oh, anyway, so basic summary here, guys. I'm bringing Stall. Yes, I know it's gross, but honestly, it is my best way of beating V. I even thought this the first time we matched up against each other, that Stall was the best way to break him down. I have so many bulky walls that put in the work. I mean, I have 3 great win cons in these setup mons here, as well as 3 just very solid Pokemon as a defensive core. Even just Skarmory and Lantern together is a fantastic defensive core, but having the Hitmontop in the back to be able to deal with that stuff too is phenomenal. But that's basically going to do it for this video, guys. It's a very short one because there isn't really much to say. Like, when you're talking about Stall teams, you don't really have to go into that much detail, I don't think. Main things I'm concerned about are Trick, Rotom, Cut. I'm not really a fan of that. That could be a bit of a problem for my team. I don't really want to have to deal with that guy, but I'm probably going to have to deal with that guy. So I've got to watch out for that one. Other thing is Espeon's kind of annoying, but I have Clef in the back now to be able to deal with that thing, being able to set up, and also having Zygarde now in the back with Outrage is phenomenal, being able to bust through that thing. So I feel overall the matchup is strong, very, very strong. Landorus is scary. That Gravity set could be terrifying, because if that happens, I have to go into Cress, and Cress isn't really designed to be able to deal with that. I could potentially go into Zygarde, and click Outrage, I don't know. I'm going to think of something when it happens and do it, but at the same time, it depends on what Lando comes in against that tells me what kind of set he's bringing, because I don't know if he would go for Gravity straight away against the Hitmontop, risking potentially getting a Toxic and whatnot. So I'll have to wait and see what he wants to do there, but my plan is very clear. It's to get up those Stealth Rocks and then just to, you know, work on whittling his team down little bit by little bit. But that is going to do it for me, guys. I think this Clefable set is going to be the major win con of the battle. As long as it doesn't get crit or hacks or anything, it will be able to get the job done. If I can get up to +6 in all 3 of those stats, it's game over. Like, I think I should be able to pull off a win there. But that is going to do it. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as I said, comment down below as to how you feel my team is going to go this week. If we can win this battle, like I said, that is going to put us 9-1. Best case scenario is CJ loses to Kingdra, but that's not going to happen. So CJ and V would then potentially both be at best 7-2, both respectively. Actually, no. they would be 6 and 3 both respectively, and that would put me 3 games ahead of both, because I'm currently 3 games ahead. No, am I 3 games ahead of CJ? I'm 2 games ahead of CJ now. If CJ wins, he goes to... Okay, I'll go to 8 and 1, not 9 and 1. I was doing bad math. So I go to 8 and 1. CJ and V would both be on 6. So I'd be 2 wins ahead. And then when CJ and V play, one of them is going to lose, which means I'll still be 2 wins ahead at that point. Then all I got to do is win my next game against Kingdra, and that'll put me 3 wins ahead with only 2 games to go. So that will secure playoffs basically at this point. So that's the aim for me right now, is to do that. And see what happens. But I don't want to say let me know what you guys think. I've already said that. I'm out this, but it's TheVerd.